So slope. What is slope? Let me know.
Slope is y equals mx plus b squared.
Okay, so that's the slope intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b.
Or rise over y.
Ah, there's the word I'm looking for.
Oh.
Y equals mx plus b. What's the slope in here again?
X.
The m. M is the slope, right? Now, what was the second one you guys said? Slope is rise over run. What does that mean?
That's when you do the pathetic little. It's rise over
Okay.
run.
So the little thing like where you go some this way and some this way, and or some this way and some that way.
For the line.
For the line, for the vine. You think about videos. All right. I should make all my lessons into vines. Right?
That's gonna be a lot of
6 seconds, right? I get like half a sentence in. All right. So if I have slope, what do I need? What do I need? Because slope is for a what? It's for a graph. A graph of a what?
Line.
A line, right? If I want to make a line, how many points do I need?
1.
Nope.
2.
2. Any 2 points will define a line, right? So if I have 2 points, that will define my line, but not my vine. Okay. So there's my line, right? 2 points make my line. Now you guys told me that slope was rise over run, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if I go from this point to that point, okay, we'll call this one number 1, that one number 2. We rise some distance, right?
3 squares.
Right? You sure it's 3? Okay. And we run some distance, right? So rise is my vertical movement, correct? And run is my horizontal. Or you can think about it this way. This is my, what axis is this? X, and this is my Y. So instead of rise being vertical and run being horizontal, we could think about it this way. Rise is my change in what? Rise is my change in Y. And X is my, or run is my change in X. Now reply saying, why are you drawing triangles there, Mr. Branch? Well, delta, the triangle, is a Greek letter that means what? Change. Delta means change.
Was that a
Hieroglyphic? No, it's not a hieroglyphic. It's a Greek letter. Like alpha, beta, chi, delta, epsilon. I don't know what F is. Okay. But the Greek alphabet in math will use a lot of their letters to stand for math terms.
That's dumb.
Okay. Like sigma, it stands for sum.
It's
It's dumb. I'm sorry for that way. So if you see triangle, that just means change, right? Right? Now if I want to find a change in something, what do I have to do? Divide. Okay, let's think about it this way. Before lunch, just hypothetically, before lunch you had $10. After lunch, you had $7. Okay? So before you had 10, after you had 7. What was your change in money during lunchtime?
Minus -$3. Minus whatever.
Okay, everyone said something that revolved around 3, right? How do you find 3?
Subtract.
10 and 7, right? Subtract them. 10 minus 7.
3.
So if I want to find my change in y, what do I have to do with y values?
Subtract.
Subtract them. If I want to find my change in x, what do I do with the x values? Subtract. So we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now you may have seen that equation before. That is the kind of the main point of the slope equation. Okay. What? Good. I'm glad it's reviewed. It'll make it go faster.
I always get confused with if it's y2 minus y1 or is it y1 minus y2?
To be honest, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
Nope. Okay. It does not matter if you go 1 minus 2 or 2 minus 1, as long as it's the same on top and bottom. Okay. So if you have y1 minus y2 and x1 minus x2, that's the same as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. They're exactly the same. Okay. As long as you keep the order the same. So if 2's in front on top, 2 has to be in front on bottom. You will not get different answers because the negative signs you might get will end up canceling each other out because they'll be negative in both or positive in both. Okay? The sign will flip in both of them. Okay? Now you're probably saying, well, where do I get the x's and the y's? Well, these points are coordinates, aren't they? I call this point 1. So this could be my x1, comma, y1. Right? And this one would be my x2, y2. Right? Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter which one is which, 1s and 2s, as long as the 1s are together and the 2s are together. Okay? If your x1 is paired with a y, it better be y1. Okay? x2 better be paired with y2. If it's not, then you're setting yourself up to do it incorrectly. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Now I need about 3 lines left below this. All right, so we're going to do some examples here, but I would leave about 3 lines underneath what we have written right there. Okay, so in your notes, leave about 3 lines, and we'll do some examples. Be nice to each other. Got some traveling music like that, Josh. Oh, dang it. Zoomed in. Rock, stop hijacking my math video. Okay. So, here I have some points, right? Everybody see it? And this will be up on Facebook later, so you guys can check the Prezi out later. All right. So I have -2, -3, and 2, 3. Now this tells me I need to find the slope of the line containing the points. And I need to calculate the slope for the line. So how do I find the slope?
You do x1, y1, x2, y2 for the 2 coordinates.
Okay. I don't know why I put this down, but which one's... I'm trying to get myself to write on the screen. All right. Which one is x1? -2. Which one is x2? 2. I said x2. Okay. Could I switch those?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter which one I call 1 or 2. It really doesn't matter.
Constant between that and the y.
As long as x1 is with which one? As long as x1 is with y1. Okay? And x2 is with y2. It does not matter which one's which, as long as the 1s are with the 1s and the 2s are with the 2s. Okay? So now how do I calculate the slope? Slope equals...
3 minus -3.
So y2 minus y1, right? 3 minus -3 over
2 minus -2. 2 minus 2.
x2 minus x1. That 3 looks funny. So 3 minus -3 over 2 minus -2. Right, what's 3 minus -3?
6.
6. What's 2 minus -2? 4. So 6 over 4. 3 over 2 or 1.5. Okay. Now I like slopes better as fractions because it'll help us better. It'll help us more later. All right. But either one of those would be okay. 3 over 2 or 1.5. Both of those are okay. All right. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? No? Okay. Now how do I plot these points? -2, -3, and 2, 3. -2, -3 means I start at 0, I go back 2, down 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. And then 2, 3 means I go over 2, up 3. Right? And now, if I want to make my line, what do I have to do with these? Connect them. Okay? So I need to connect these the best I can as straight as possible. Okay. Looks okay. The bottom part doesn't look as good as the top part. But that's my line. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Now the cool thing about slope is 3 over 2 is my rise over my run. So if I start at this point right here, right? And I go up 3, which is my rise. 1, 2, 3. And run 2. 1, 2. I'm back on my line. Right? Same thing, I go here, I go up 3. 1, 2, 3. Over 2. 1, 2. Still on my line.
Then you find other
Okay. And that's how we can find our points, right? I can keep going with this. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2, 1, 2, right? And every time I do that, I'll be on my line because the slope is the same each time. The slope is constant. We could make a table using those dots. Right. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. So this right here, that was my rise, right? It was 3, right? And that was my run, which was 2. Okay. Up 3 over 2, and I'll keep being on that line. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. Try the next one then. Calculate the slope of this next one. Trying to hijack my video again, Josh?
Finding the slope, do we start from the furthest on the left side, or whichever one's on the bottom?
What?
When we find the slope, do we start whichever one's on the bottom, or the furthest on the left side?
Doesn't matter. You can pick. You can call these 1 and these 2, or these ones and these 2s. It does not matter.
No, right, but I'm talking about when you find the rise over one.
Oh, rise or run? Yeah, start the one that's closest to the furthest to the left and bottom. Or start the one furthest to the left,
Okay.
and then work to the right.
So what point you want it in fraction form?
Fraction form is always better. Alright, so someone help me out? What's the top look like? Well, first, which one do you guys call 1? Is 0, 2, 1? Or is this 2? 1. So that means that this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay. So then what's the top of this equation look like?
0 subtract 2.
So 0 subtract 2 over 3 subtract 0. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Oh. Now, let's say I tried to do this on my calculator. So I plugged it in like this. Okay. Is this going to work?
No. Yes. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, what do we get?
Negative
-2 over
3.
3. Does that reduce at all?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Let's see what I get here. I have my refresh button. Come on now. Okay. So that one worked, right? Now just to be sure, you can hit math, frac, enter. Like that, and it'll give me my answer as -2/3. Now it worked for this one, right? Well, let's try the other one. I'm gonna do the first one on my calculator. So 3 minus -3 divided by 2 minus -2. Okay? So it looks like this, right? Is this gonna work?
No.
Come on. Come on, auto refresh. Let's go. There it goes. 6.5. Is 6.5 the same as 1.5? No. So why did it work for the first one, not for this one? Nope. Okay. The first one I tried, this one had zeros. The zeros don't really affect my subtraction as much as the other one does. Okay. In this one, all right, if I'm doing 0 minus 2, that's just gonna be negative 2, right? Doesn't really change my number all that much. But in this one, 3 minus negative 3, that makes a big change, doesn't it? Right? The top of this changes from negative 3, or 3 minus negative 3 turns it into a positive 6, right? Right? Do I want that subtraction to happen first or second? First. Now if I plug in my calculator like this, is it happening first or second? Second. So if we're using our calculator, the reason why I'm showing you this, if we're using our calculator, we need to make sure that the top and the bottom are in parentheses. Okay? All right. And then that way your calculator will do the subtraction first. And now when I hit enter, wait for it. 1.5. Right? Does that make sense? So if you're one who wants to use your calculator, then make sure that you put the top and bottom in parentheses. Okay? All right, back to this. So, slope is negative 2/3, right? Right? So let's plot these points here beneath. First one, 0, 2. 0, 2. So 0, 2. Second one, 3, 0. 3, 0, right?
Right.
I'm going to draw my line now. That's a good marker.
That's an awful sound.
Okay. So there's my line, right? My rise over run is negative 2/3, right? So that means I start here, I go down how many?
1, 2.
We go down 2, right? 1, 2, over, and back on my line. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to try these two. Try C and D. Try C and D. Great use of your time.
I'm done. I already did.
You ready to C and D?
Alright.
You right?
Or no grab. Or the opposite.
No, that's good.
Hey, red mark is gone.
No, it's just further up the screen.
What is that word?
We'll talk about that later. All right, how are we doing on these? Need more time? Okay. I'm sorry, I get excited about math. Especially since Rebecca said she's already done already. Fanny, okay? Okay.
Is she still filming right now?
Why, you have something you have to say that doesn't relate to math?
Well, I'll say it now that Colin's down.
Mr. Burns,
Everybody should go to the Latino.
would you be mad if would you be mad if like the fight broke out and like you were trying to break it up and I'll turn the camera so they have to fight?
No, because I think Mr. Alston would like that. So he can know who
Did
did
you
what.
post it on YouTube still?
No, I would post it on YouTube.
What?
I'm not a junior high boy. I don't post my fights on
Would
YouTube.
you send it to me?
Alright.
Send it to me.
Alright, so for C, I'm gonna do C and D kind of over here we're a little more space. Okay? So for C, my points are 2, 1 and -2, 1, right? Which one's x1, which one's y1?
2 is x1. Well, 2, 1 is x1.
Okay. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, as long as the 1s are with the 1s and the 2s are with the 2s. So that means my slope then is going to be y2, 1 minus y1, right? Over x2 minus x1. So we end up with 0 over -4. 0 over -4 reduces to?
Error.
Oh, not error. Reduce it to 0. Okay? So let's graph this one. 2, 1, -2, 1. 2, 1, -2, 1. Another good marker. Okay. Straight line, right? What type of line is that called? I think it's an H.
Horizontal.
Horizontal. So this is a horizontal line. And that line is horizontal, right? Okay, let's try the other one. So the other one was 2, 1, and 2, -1. I'm guessing you guys did this way, where 2 is x1, 1 is y1, 2 is x2, -1 is y2. So then our slope equals what? What's on top?
4.
What's on top?
Oh.
-1 minus 1 over 2 minus 2, right? So we end up with -2 over 0. Can we divide by 0?
No.
No, so this one is?
No solution.
Nope,
Infinite solution.
nope.
-2.
Undefined.
It's called an undefined slope. Okay. Now if I were to graph this line, it's 2, 1, which I already have, and 2, -1. Right? Well, I've got some black, so it's different. There you go. Alright. So that one is what type of line? Horizontal or vertical? Vertical. Okay, so that one's vertical. So if I have a slope of 0, that means my line is horizontal. If I have an undefined slope, that means my slope is vertical. Otherwise, the slope is my rise over run. Whatever the number is on top, that's how much you go up. Whatever the number on bottom is, that's how much you go over. Okay.
I couldn't do the right because you go up 0.
Okay, for the horizontal line, you go up 0, right? So I'm going to start here and we'll go up 0.
Well, how do you start there?
Okay, I can start here. I'm going to go up 0. I'm going to go back 4.
Never mind.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That makes sense? Or the other one, I'm going to start here and we'll go down 2. I'm going to run 0. Okay? And this is vertical line. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the 0 over 4 is all run, 0 rise. The -2 over 0 is all rise, 0 run. Okay? Does that make sense, guys?
Well, on this one, it doesn't matter.
It does matter which one is 0. Okay? So the last thing, remember I said I wanted you to leave like 3 lines in your notes? It was this. Slope equals 0. That means the line is what?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. Okay? If slope is undefined,
Vertical.
okay, undefined meaning you have 0 on bottom, so the line is vertical. Okay. Are there any questions?